Alright, it's been a few weeks since we last put out a video, and that's because we are in the final stages of buying an RV. We've been shopping for probably about 6 months to try and find the perfect RV for our needs, and we found it about a week and a half ago.
Oh no!
So we're in the final stages of getting all that sorted out, and hopefully in less than a week we'll own the RV. But I don't want to do that video without Jenny. She's not here right now. So we're just going to stick to the topic of this week's video, which is RV towing. We will probably do a second video once we get everything hooked up on our truck and actually do a little testing with it. But a month ago, we didn't know a single thing about towing a vehicle with an RV. We do know that that's probably what we're going to want to do. Most big RVs are pretty tough to drive around, and it's not really practical to drive it to the grocery store or to do small errands. So we definitely have a need, we think, to have a tow vehicle. And the RV I can't talk about right now is definitely capable of pulling a vehicle behind it. So that's pretty exciting. A month ago, we knew nothing. We started scouring the internet, watching YouTube, and doing a lot of research, and we got most of our questions answered by doing that. However, as with anything, once we got into the details, there were still a few things we couldn't find out. We did some more searching and actually found out less than 30 minutes from our house is one of the major tow bar manufacturers. So we gave them a call. We figured they might be able to help us out and answer a few questions we had. They answered all of our questions and showed us how all the parts are made, and we were pleasantly surprised to find out that all the parts are made here in the US. So that's pretty awesome. But anyways, enough of me talking. Let's meet David Robinson with Roadmaster and see what he has to say.
Okay, so of course Roadmaster is an American company. We make everything right here from start to finish. And kind of our bread and butter are tow bars, of which we make quite a variety. The Falcon All-Terrain is our best-selling tow bar. So it just inserts into the 2x2 receiver that's on the back of your coach. When you're ready to tow, you unfold the tow bar and you extend the arms out to reach the car. So these arms literally will extend and compress depending upon how far they need to go out to reach your car. That means that when you pull the car, and in your case the truck, out behind the motorhome, you don't have to be just right on. You just get it somewhere close and it's going to reach out and pin on.
I think in the past you had to be perfectly lined up, right? Just to get the brackets to mate and match up.
That's right. In the original style of tow bar, it'd be very similar to, the tracker. So this is what we call a rigid A-frame arm. You'll notice that these arms don't shorten. So what that means is that the customer has to get the car perfectly aligned. And unlike a trailer where you might be able to wiggle the coupler around a little bit left or right, you're not moving that at all. So you have to be spot on, and that means that there had to be one person in the car driving it and then another person out in front of the tow bar saying a little left, a little right.
There are quite a few marital arguments.
Exactly right. We used to call it Stowmaster, which was our first folding collapsible tow bar, self-aligning. We used to call it the Mary Saver because one person could very easily get out there and hook it up and disconnect it. The Stowmaster is our car-mounted tow bar, and it's a bar that when you're done towing, you uncouple it from a ball on the motorhome, and then it folds up and collapses and stores right in front of the car. But there's a lot of consumers who just get into the industry and they go, well, it doesn't make sense to store it on the car. I'd rather store it on the motorhome. And for that reason, we sell way more of the motorhome-mounted tow bars. But all of our tow bars kind of have an overriding theme, and it doesn't matter, whether you're talking about the lowest line bar or our top of the line bar, which is the quality. We put a lot of money into our tow bars that nobody else does. For example, we use stainless steel because we don't want them to rust, we don't want them to corrode. And not only is it stainless steel, but in most cases, like here on the Falcon, it's solid. So we're starting with just a totally round bar stock, and then he's putting this keyway on the end, and this will actually become the removable bracket that goes through your bumper and then twists to lock into place. And then in here, there'll be another collar that's welded with a little spring pin. And when you're done towing, you'll pull that spring pin, which will allow you to rotate this back to remove it from the car. Wow. So again, we start with solid bar stock. And through this machine, we'll turn it and finish it to make all of these cuts and grooves. So everything you see on this table is is a small sampling of the kinds of things that we do here in this department. So it can be as little as a small part for one of our Roadmaster air hoses, or it can be very large, like we make some axles. It starts out in 20-foot lengths, and then we'll cut them to the right length. And then we will start shaping and contouring and welding other aluminum parts onto it. But this is kind of how it all starts.
Perfect.
And by the way, this is brand new. This bar has not been released yet. We're taking it to our first show, not next week, but the week after. So in 2 weeks, we'll be launching this product.
Oh wow, okay.
And this guy here, and I'm sure you won't have time to do anything, but don't post anything about our new Nighthawk tow bar for at least 2 weeks. A little secret in the tow bar world is that there is no governmental standard. What? There is no governmental standard. There's no testing agency where you can send your tow bar to and say, tell me how much I can rate my tow bar for.
Okay.
So each manufacturer sets their own standards. And for it to pass our test, it has to go 150,000 strokes in and 150,000 strokes out. And if it breaks, then it doesn't pass our test.
Wow.
So there is such a difference in standards that we've also tested our competitors. Mm-hmm. And our competitors' 10,000 pound tow bar doesn't pass our 6,000 pound test. Okay, tow bars are a big part of our business, but the tow bars are of no value if you don't have a way of attaching them to the car.
Exactly.
So we sell tens of thousands of these brackets to different years, makes, and models. We also sell supplemental braking systems, and we have a very wide variety. This just happens to be the braking laws by state. So for example, in California, Nevada, and Idaho, they have a weight limit of 1,500 pounds. So if you're towing more than 1,500 pounds, by law, you have to have a supplemental braking system. The red is 3,000 pounds, and that seems to be the most popular around the country. But, you know, even though it's the law, that's really not the reason to get it. The reason to get it is because you will, in an emergency, you're going to stop a lot faster with a braking system than without.
Yes.
If we get a circuit board in, we have a microscope that we look at it, and sometimes they don't clean the board properly. So we use this microscope to inspect the board. A lot of our braking systems work based on motion. They have accelerometers on the circuit boards. It's just like you have a cup of coffee. If you step on the brakes, the coffee goes to the front. We use accelerometers to measure how far did the coffee go. And every braking system that uses wireless devices is tested.
Okay.
So if we make 30 of them today, there was somebody sitting here and they tested 30 transmitters.
Wow.
And so it takes somebody up here, somebody in their car, and they plug each monitor in one at a time, and we measure the distance. So if it doesn't work properly, we know it has a weak signal.
This side of the factory over here, this is really kind of where everything starts. We'll get in, you'll see the racks of steel and aluminum back there. Everything comes in via truck, and then we will literally cut it. All of these are cutting saws, so we'll cut it to the right length for whatever we're building. So these cutting devices are pretty smart. When you tell it how long you want each piece, and when it's done cutting through a layer, it'll automatically raise itself, it'll go grab the steel, it'll pull it through to the correct length, and then it'll start cutting again. Now this whole area of our factory is a part of the factory that most companies don't have, because we make our own punch press dies here. We make the tool steel parts that will stamp out our other parts, right? And we do that on this machine in here.
Wow.
So these are all pieces of tool steel, and what that means is that you can't scratch it, you can't cut it. So the question is how do we shape these? How do we make these? It's this machine in here. If we want to cut this shape in here, or this shape here, this is the machine that does it. And you see this brass spool of wire? Okay, that wire is coming down, and the part that we want to cut is at the bottom of this head. And when that brass hits the steel, current flows through it and it arcs, it sparks. And it's literally just electrically cutting the steel away. But it is a really time-consuming process. Like to get from here to here might take an hour.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
My.
So to cut out a part like this, we might have to have it run a day and a half or two
Exactly.
to get all these pieces cut. But this is so strong that I can just punch out steel, punch out steel, punch out steel.
That's incredible. Can I see it? Or?
Yeah.
Oh wow, and that's some serious weight.
It will automatically lay out all the drawings to maximize the utilization of the steel. And if it has space left over, it will say, hey, I've got this space left over. You know, 7 of these would fit really well right here. And it will offer suggestions to tell you how to make sure that you're burning every square inch of steel and maximizing the utilization.
Nice.
Wow, how efficient is that?
And when it's ready to burn, these suction cups will pick up the steel and shuttle it in to where it's burned. After it's burned, it'll pick it back out and drop it here when it's done. And it will just keep shuffling all by itself. Nobody even has to be here until it runs out of material.
Every day I'm shuffling.
So we actually insert the end of this bar into that induction heater, and in about a minute and a half, it'll be glowing red hot orange, right? I mean, literally a couple thousand degrees. And then while it's still hot and malleable, we'll put it into the punch presses, and we'll put all this stamping. We'll literally nip the end off, we'll punch the hole through it, we'll shape it.
Wow.
And of course, because it's all hot and glowy, it gives sparks and fire. It's kind of cool to watch. This whole area is about $2. So you can see these are the axles that we manufactured, and they will eventually get spindles and brakes and tires and wheels and tongues, and eventually these will be $2. These are all arms of a tow bar, right? So this will end up being the passenger side arm. Then there will be a mirror image of it over here, which will be the driver's side arm.
What do you think so far?
This is like mind blowing. There's so much they do here. It's incredible.
Yeah, this is a massive production.
This is not done, but that new tow bar that I was telling you about, this is feel the texture there.
It's neat. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a very attractive, and this is baked on powder coat finish.
Yeah.
The LED lights are going to go right in here.
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's a good looking tow bar.
Nice.
Stabilizer sway bars.